Hello, this is Ken Ferry with this week's Boots in the Field report. Great to get back in the saddle after our fishing trip. Fishing was great. Didn't have to deal with any smoke this year. Zach and I did all we could to help them with their walleye and smallmouth bass outbreak up there. But I do think they would take more help in controlling that fish population if anybody else wants to go up. That was some heavy weather this week. Man, our prayers go out to all suffered damage, especially in the Streeter area. You know, when I got back from fishing, I was actually a little disappointed with our two rains at 4/10 each, giving us 8/10. Everybody else was talking about 2 to 5 inches of rain. I suggested some of you guys could share a little. Well, now after 6 inches of rain, you can stop sharing for a bit. Nice to know we're going to go into July, though, with the tank full. Across our customer base, reports of 4 to 12 inches of rain so far, and it's only the 12th of June. Getting many calls on crops standing in water. How long will it last? Crops standing in water, not covered up by water, will last longer. The problem is these high temperatures. Corn standing in water for more than 48 hours in these temperatures is going to get hit pretty hard. Some of this corn is going on 4 or 5 days with these back-to-back rains. By mid next week, much of the ponded corn will start to turn silver and die out. If you have a drone or access to one, this would be a good time to get a bird's eye view of where these spots are, how big they are. This is good information when we decide maybe replanting, but it's also good information for your side dressing and herbicide teams, so we don't stick an applicator in the middle of the field. The question is coming in, do we replant these ponds if we can get to them? Granted, we're probably 10 days, 2 weeks out if this turns around. Now, if we're talking beans, of course, the answer is yes. They will yield more like double crop beans, but at least they'll help us in managing the weeds and we'll get something out of it. In cornfields, the question is how much damage will you do to get to the pond? And will your herbicide program allow you to plant beans? If so, I would plant the ponds to beans, cut the losses, and manage the weeds. Now we've got a long way to go till fall, so a 2-acre pond can create a lot of weed seed for the weed bank. If the ponds are small, hard to get to, you might think giving some thought to finding a drone operator who could fly in some cover crop for you. Help to keep those weeds under control. Next question, what has this week's rain done to our nitrogen situation? Well, here locally, I think we're going to actually be all right for the most part. Nitrate testing has indicated that this has been a nitrogen-friendly year so far. The upper 12 inches are carrying most of the nitrates. Now, this rain will push them into that second foot, but this corn is tall enough to catch it. These fast rains do more runoff than infiltration. Where the water runs is where you should place your concern. Those low concave areas need to be watched. If you have good drainage and the stands survive, these are areas that we'll need to reassess to see if we got enough nitrogen to carry it to the finish line. And we can make that call by pulling nitrates in the future. Something similar happened here locally 2015 where we had our side dressing done and we picked up 15 inches of rain in June. We went back with aerial applied urea and high clearance applicators in these well-drained low-lying areas and produced a pretty big return to adding a little extra nitrogen. We're at about 1,200 growing degree days according to the rootworm as of January 1 here at Hayworth, which means rootworm feeding is underway. Growers have commented on the high number of fireflies that they're seeing at night. Fireflies have nothing to do with rootworm pressure, but they do operate on the same growing degree pattern. Scouts, you can start looking for rootworm pressure by examining a 7-inch cube of soil around the plant. Put that cube and plant in a 5-gallon bucket, half full of water with a half cup of salt. Work that soil, break it all up, get the chunks out of it, wash that root clean, and the larvae will float to the top. If you're going to see 7 to 8 larvae per plant, you got a problem, and you're going to have to make some plants. You can also do this by laying that cube on a black tarp and work through that. looking for the larva. But here, if you find 2 per plant, you're going to have a problem. Now, we don't have many rescue options anymore. There are only about 2 products that you can put through a Y drop and that are water soluble enough to help. The trick is you need to catch them early, and they need to be applied early. Now, if you plan to dig plants to evaluate your rootworm program, not a rescue, I would wait another 3-4 weeks. Then you can wash those roots and evaluate how many roots per node are damaged. Record this, take pictures of it for future references. Try to do an evaluation now. It's just going to be too early because the damage is just starting. So situation where wait a few weeks if that's your process, and then go out there and dig those plants. You don't need to bring the soil in at that point. You just need the roots, and you're going to assess damage. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but pest teams need to be prepared. With these heavy rain events, we need to be prepared for the potential of tar spot coming early. The big rains have caused a lot of splash events where we can get splashed, homegrown tar spot splashed up onto the plant. When I look at the 10-day forecast, it shows a cooling off period where days in the 70s, nights in the 50s. Man, guys, this smells a lot like 2021, when here in Tar Spot Alley, we had 2 100-year rain events back-to-back in a 10-day window. And we were only in the second week of June, and then it cooled off on us. We saw tar spot the last week in June at the bottom of the plant. Now, last year, for most of the country, southern rust came in early. Tar spot showed up at the back end. This year, that could be flipped. Now, the good news is we know how to handle this situation. So don't put your head in the sand and ignore the possibility. Develop a plan now to handle this potential threat. Even if that plan is crop insurance, develop a plan now and have it ready to implement. This weather is driving Katie nuts as her crews are being pushed out of everywhere. They're pushing hard to get your sampling done, and just like you are trying to get your spraying and side dressing done. We ask that you be patient with us, and Katie may be pestering you more than normal for field conditions and updates to be able to move her crews around. Things here at the Corn College campus are looking good. Don't forget to get your Farm Journal Corn Soybean College tickets. You can get them at our website, as well as see the 2-day agenda. To stay up to date, check out our website at croptechinc.com and subscribe to our podcast, Boots in the Field Report. Keep her safe, keep her moving.